we became the first new infant formula manufacturer to be registered with FDA in this country in over 15 years. We started this work, well before a shortage, with a motive.
Elon Musk has said that he has a super bad feeling about the U.S. economy. He's laying off 10% of his workforce. What do you say to Elon Musk about his feeling about the economy? Jamie Dimon has said similar things.
Well, let me tell you, while Elon Musk is talking about that, Ford is increasing their investment overwhelmingly. I think Ford is increasing the investment in building new electric vehicles, 6,000 new employees, union employees. Lots of luck on his trip to the moon. My friends on the Republican side like to paint me as the big spender. But let's look at the facts. Facts matter. Under my predecessor, the deficit exploded, rising every single year he was in office. Under my plan, we're on track to cut the federal deficit this year by $1.7 trillion. Hear me now?
Well, all of that spending came under the Trump administration, but he said it specifically, we are cutting the deficit. That's not true. Those programs are ending. If anything, they've made inflation worse by proposing more spending.
In some places in this country now, a gallon of gas costs more than people on the federal minimum wage are making in an hour. What does the White House want these people to do? To stop driving to work?
Look, the president understands what it feels like. He understands that feeling personally, or seeing prices of groceries go up in the grocery store. This is something that he is inherently aware of, and he's doing everything that he can. As Brian Deese was just here, his economic advisor, one of his top economic advisor, laying out what he is planning to do.
You just mentioned Putin a few times as a reason for recent inflation. Do you guys think that any part of inflation this year is because of President Biden's spending plans, or is it all Putin's fault?
Well, what I can say is we are, and Brian just spoke to this, we are at a historic place when it comes to the economy. Now we're going to a place where we're going into transition. Well, that's because of the American Rescue Plan that the president signed into law, that no Republican signed or voted for, I should say, and all of that work that he's done the first year has led us to a place where.
Does President Biden take any responsibility for his policies potentially contributing to inflation?
His policies has helped the economy get back on its feet. That's what his policies has done. When we talk about the gas prices right now, this is indeed Putin's gas hike.
These are pretty simple questions, and we appreciate you joining us, but people just want to know what the plan is. I mean, gas prices all-time high, inflation at a 40-year high.
You know what?
The president in his piece makes the case that the economy is thriving.
Here's the deal. I just go through the plan, and you just pretend that I didn't say it. You just ignore it, and you just ask the same question. It's your show, if that's what you want to do. But when I'm going through this and you just interrupt, I don't see how that's helping your viewers. Now, you could say that you disagree
we gave you quite a bit of time
plan.
to explain.
By the way, last time I was on this show, you were upset because I was talking about the Rick Scott plan that was a leading Republican who was going to raise taxes. Right, and then you said, oh, that's not the plan. You don't have a plan to discuss on the Republican side. You have no plan.
Democrats are in
Out
leadership.
a plan that the president
and the
just
House,
laid
the Senate,
out.
the White House.
The president just laid out.
And you want the plan to come from
just
Republicans?
Laid out in the Wall Street Journal, and you just want to keep asking the same question. If millions of senior
pivot doesn't
Americans
help
and working
Americans
families,
who
should
can
we
barely
cap
fill their
$35
tank to go
insulin?
to work. Is this a reaction rather than the president getting ahead of this problem? I mean, you had your colleagues, Larry Summers from the Obama administration. You had Steve Rattner that were warning about inflation on the way well over a year ago, well before Putin invaded Ukraine.
I think that we have been where most experts around the world, including our Federal Reserve, including other central banks, have been, and we have always been focused on it. And
Hello, midshipmen. Hello. Great going.
Hello, Naval Academy. Whoa. Before I began my speech, a thought crossed my mind.
Work to be done.
Okay, another big topic. When are you guys going to admit that you were wrong about inflation?
No easy questions today, huh?
The Treasury Secretary says that she was wrong, so why doesn't anybody here at the White House?
Okay, so look, which couldn't have been foreseen 18 months ago,
Why
including, well, I'm trying to answer your question. Hold on, I was just getting to the why not, including.
Look, I think I was wrong then about the path that inflation would take. As I mentioned, there have been unanticipated and large shocks to the economy that have boosted energy and food prices and supply bottlenecks that have affected our economy badly that I at the time didn't fully understand.
Just that I understand, the Treasury Secretary says that she was wrong, but the White House was not wrong about inflation.
Here's the thing: we have achieved a historic recovery through an extraordinary.
Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen say, in effect, that she got it wrong in terms of how serious and how quickly inflation would become a problem. You spoke to my colleague Poppy last year, and I just want to play what you said at the time and get your reaction. Have a listen.
The risk of overheating in terms of price pressures is considerably smaller than the risks of doing too little to finally put this crisis behind us.
Listen, no one has a crystal ball, but do you look back now and say, you know what? We juiced the economy too much and we underestimated the risk of overheating the economy and overheating prices?
You know, look, it's easy to look back on what you said a year ago and, you know, find flaws, and I could probably do that. I actually thought what I said is something I would continue to stick with. And here.
Who briefed the president on baby formula? To say there is no specific person is not a satisfactory answer. When you have senior assistants to the president, there's a paper trail, I'm sure, about briefings to the president. There's a domestic policy council. There's a chief of staff. At some point, we need to know who would have been the most likely person to talk to him.
I think, as you know, you've covered many administrations, and there are just regular channels that happen that go to the president.
Like it's evasive to not have the most senior people in the White House willing to say, I had a conversation with the president about it, or we talked about it in this context or that context. And we're also all reporting on the consumer side of it, of what you're doing, putting out and trying to get information. But we're also trying to understand the information flow in this White House, and it's important for us to get that answer, which is why we're going to keep asking it until we get that answer.
No, you have every right to keep asking. That's why I'm here. That is just the process that we have.
Chief of staff, then?
I'm not going to confirm who it was. I'm just letting you know that there are regular channels that we use.
The White House had some very hard headlines this week about inflation and about baby formula. If there's nothing new that you can point to in this speech tonight, did you just schedule it to get people talking about something else?
This is not about politics. This is not about partisan politics here. This is something that he has worked on since he was a senator. This is very important and real for the president. I'm hearing this right, could be used as a political tool, and that's not what this is. This is not about partisan. These are
formula. I know you got a lot of questions about this yesterday. I'm wondering if you had an opportunity to speak with the president since his comments yesterday when he said he was not informed about the situation until May. Has he expressed any disappointment in his staff for not bringing this issue to him earlier? Are there any concerns about the information flow in the White House that, given the manufacturers told him very directly they knew this would be a problem in February and he didn't know about it until months later? Has he expressed concern about that gap and how that squares with the whole of government approach you outlined yesterday?
So this is something that we're going to continue to work on.
Right, but that doesn't answer the question about when the president was informed and whether or not he is satisfied with the staff not telling him about what has become a major problem.
Well, he spoke to when he was informed. He spoke to that yesterday, which was in April. And you're asking me about the process and is he disappointed? Look, I'm telling you, the administrator of FDA spoke to this. They moved too slowly.
That's the FDA administrator. That's not the president. Those are two different.
No, but I'm telling you the process. I'm telling you what happened. We acted. We took urgent action. So that is the way that it happened. That is the way the timeline was laid out, and so that is. You may not like my answer, but that is the way that we see it in answering your question there. Go ahead.